Welcome to Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast, episode number 132. I'm your host, Jeff Halash. I'm joined today by Nick Shaw and his team from foolishit.com. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing excellent. I love learning about tools and the different things that they can do to help computer repair techs and businesses, in their business. So if you want to do me a favor and go ahead and introduce your team to everybody so they know who they are.
Yeah, well, we're Foolish IT. We like helping techs in their businesses too. We've all been there, and some of us still are. Well, mostly all. Let me introduce my team here. First, I've got Tank. Say hello, Tank. You can say hello.
I think Tank's muted.
You can't say hello. Okay, apparently there's no issue. Tank is very new to the team. We've got Proctor. Proctor is in the white shirt. Say hello, Proctor.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Proctor's the only guy without a lower third. He's like actually weird. He's like the CFO and the D72 man. Does testing and support and development and everything usage man. He still operates and owns and operates his own computer repair business, and he works for me on the side, and he's doing the CFO thing, and he's doing some D72 stuff for me, and then we've got Brantley to his left. Brantley's in the black shirt. With the headset, and Brantley is the COO. He makes everything happen. He's also a D72 man, and the crypto prevent man. He's whatever. Whenever I have a product and I say, hey, I need this tested before it goes out, I send it to Brantley. He also handles all the customer service and all that junk, and he's the COO. So I guess it's the operations. He does all that stuff, and then we've got with the weird looking picture thing. We've got Michael, and Michael is I don't know what he does actually.
Hello, everyone. Well, primarily, I think I'm a frontman line for the phones. For us, I also do account management. I'm getting into more programming with our products on back-end stuff, not so much front-end design, but back-end design, and let's see, help out where I can, basically.
Very cool. So, Nick, what types of was that? Did we get everybody? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it.
Well, welcome everybody. Glad to have you on the show. And so, Nick, what types of things are you guys working on? I know some people. There's been some talk in the industry. Some people want to know kind of your direction because obviously, this crypto prevent, these crypto viruses, or I should say, are really starting to change and morph, and and I know you're really working on that product as far as crypto prevent, but you also have this great tool D72, and you also have a whole support system to support D72 and crypto prevent in people's businesses. So kind of if you want to lay out what things are you doing, and if you have any specific team members that do certain things and want to talk about what they do in the business and kind of what's going on, that'd be great.
Awesome. Well, let me start. D72 is alive. I haven't put out an update in like a month or so, maybe two. It's been hectic for me. Personally, I just moved, and now my office is in my bedroom, so it's a different background and everything. But I moved, and there's a lot going on in my personal life, and I haven't been able to do a lot of the D7 stuff that I've wanted to do. Or the crypto prevent stuff or anything else. So what I've done is I brought in Michael and Brantley on the end are doing the crypto prevent development. They're basically starting on a new version of crypto prevent and a new programming language that will be a lot better than the VB6 implementation that it is right now, which is because it was just a program that I wrote for one guy,
Right. Okay.
in the start, and just a computer tech who asked me for that functionality. And as far as D72 is concerned, I've got Proctor on to help me out, but I'm just now starting to get back into it. I actually wrote a D72 update this morning, and I haven't released it yet because I haven't got anybody to test it. We're having some website issues at the moment, so I haven't really had a moment to get back to that, but I need to test it, and I want to send it out. It basically replaces the Kettering functionality that was in D72 or is in D72. Kettering being the thing that allows you to just pre-download apps, basically.
Right. Okay.
Where you want to pre-download all of the apps that you're normally going to use, you'll run a Kettering run. Now you can do that, or at least as soon as I get this update out, you'll be able to do that without Kettering. So.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and it is based on some new download code that I've been working on that only downloads it basically requests the header and says the header says oh, it's a certain size or a certain date, so it's newer than the one that you already got, so we'll download that, or if it's not, we'll skip it, that kind of thing.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nick, do we need to tell the viewers exactly what D7 is?
Oh, well, I don't think we do. Do we?
I would hope not, but
Michael, I guess you're going to take this one.
well, all-purpose PC's technicians tool. Basically, tech shops out there, they want this. It's their first line of, it's their first and only product, hopefully, in their tool set, because it manages all those things for you, like John was talking about. All your tools, your functionality is going to be right in there for you in a beautiful interface that allows you to automate all the tasks that you do to fix and repair a computer. Provides consistent reporting and consistent levels of service among your technicians. So much functionality. It's really too much to go into in further detail. I would point you to our website, though. It has a lot more on there about it, and we think we've introduced some new pricing levels, particularly for single tech monthly subscriptions, and we'd love you guys to try out.
The new single tech monthly. Can I just take over? You're
Sure.
boring me.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I pick on Michael all the time. He's the guy.
Poor Jester.
No, we love him. No, it's the single tech monthly is a new plan that we just put out. Previously monthly we've only had $39.99. It was a 5-tech license, and the reason for that is because we didn't want to have someone, subscribe and then cancel a month later, and then we've got a potential license floating out there that someone had for $19, and then there's something that someone has the opportunity to try and hack, or whatever. But there had to be a certain value, I guess, to the initial. We have a new billing system that allows us to introduce this new single tech plan, and essentially you're just going to pay $39 the first month like everyone else, like all of the existing monthly plans, but the rest of the month you'll just pay the $19 being a single tech.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So now we're trying to open that up because there are a lot of single techs who who can afford to buy annual, and then they save a lot of money on the annual plan, and they still will. But with the single tech monthly, a lot of those who couldn't afford to do the annual plan can still afford to do D7.
Gotcha.
It's geared a lot more towards single techs that are really just starting up and living month to month. So we've all been there and want to help out as many people as we can and get them so that they can automate and do better business too.
Good point. Yeah, and I'll say from my standpoint of using the product, D7.2 is the one thing that I like about it is basically if you're doing a manual anything, repair on a machine, virus removal, whatever, updates, you basically, once you open D7.2 up, you don't have to get out of D7.2 at all. You can do everything that you do in Windows right from inside the program, and I think that to me is great because I don't have to go around in a bunch of different areas to try to do what I need to do. Everything's right there, and all the menus and everything.
I guess we're billing it now as a productivity tool.
Yeah.
I guess that's like the appropriate word, and it took us a while to find that out.
That's a good point because it does. It's very very productive because you're not having to jump from place to place to place. You're inside one tool and you go from there.
And we've been using the main word up until this point had been automation, but that isn't 100% the case. Part of that productivity where automation is not is part of what D7.2 was designed for originally. D7 was originally designed for, and that's like techs who know where to go in the registry and the file system and everywhere else, who don't want to have to click and type and click and click,
right?
And can use things like utilities, which is now in D7 it's called defunc, and you can use utilities like that to go to these frequently browsed locations in the registry and the file system and other things, but they're essentially just shortcuts,
right?
And you can configure them to display exactly what you want and only what you want, and none of the rest. Whitelisting, you can do blacklisting, of course, to remove entries before you even bother looking at it, and that will get logged. And when you do the defunct thing and look at it, that's actual productivity. It's you getting to where you need to be in less time. And it's not always about automation, it's about the productivity. So we sort of switched to that terminology.
Nice.
But I mean, I think it sums it up a lot better.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, one of the things, now, if I remember correctly, you guys created some whitelists for like defunct and different things, different tools in there with, basic, machines that were, clean machines, first boots or whatever, from your different operating systems. Mm-hmm. Do you guys still have that stuff in place?
Well, in place, no. In place where I want it to be, no, and have not had it in place yet.
Okay.
I'm still working on that. Brantley, go ahead, Brantley.
I was going to say we do have it as available as an additional download on the DMZ. You can go ahead and get the whitelist there. We do have a lot better way to implement that coming forward.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I want to reiterate to everyone out there that DMZ Starter, our starter edition of DMZ, is now available to all our existing D7.2 clientele. And if you haven't yet responded and requested an account, please do that on our site today, and we'll be happy to get that set up for you so you can access that material. That's one of our most requested pieces of content, and it really is one of those things that allow people to get off the ground and running with D7.2 a lot more quickly. It's basically our best set of practices kind of rolled together, and I want to just put in a plug for it. It's completely free for anyone who has a D7.2 subscription right now, so please take advantage of that.
It also has, of course, access to these downloads. We're talking about the whitelists. You have access to also something that Brantley's worked on and I've collaborated on, and it's a default D7.2 configuration, which is something a lot of people, I imagine, would have at least appreciated.
Oh, absolutely.
When they were first setting it up, if nothing else. But we have a default configuration on the DMZ, thanks to Brantley now, and the default configuration basically configures lots of internal functions, lots of default apps. It configures them in the appropriate order and the way that we as technicians would do things, and it just sets it all up for you. You're going to want to go in there and tweak it, but it basically cuts out 95% of the work.
Yeah, mostly all you would have to set up at that point would be what order you'd want things in and your branding. Also, the DMZ gives you a lot of training videos so that you can know exactly why we set things up and how things should be working and going forward with those.
And so basically what we have the intro videos that show you how to set up and work with it. Those are included. We have the profiles that bypass all of that work. And those are included. And of course the videos that show you how basic usage and stuff is, you can't include that in a profile. But we include all of that with the starter, so that's with every D7.2 subscription now. even retroactively applies to older ones. So, like Michael was saying, if you have an old existing D72 subscription, just contact us and we'll set you up with the DMZ starter access at no charge. Or you can go up to the standard, which gets you all of the videos, and all of the videos includes the more advanced stuff and the malware removal stuff, and vice versa, and all that junk. Then the pro and the expert add more tech support, not tech support, tech assistance, I should say, and the more webinars, which we will do on various products and malware removal processes, and basically whatever you want to request. If you have an idea, for a webinar, I mean, we have we're giving out tons of webinars with these, and no one's really coming up with ideas. So we've got ideas, but we can do the same ones over and over again, or you can give us idea for a webinar, and we'll do that too.
Now, what would be the best way for people to get that information to you, as far as giving you information for what they want to see in a webinar? Is that something you can do in the DMZ?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Or just send an email to dmz@foolishit.com.
Okay. Now, would you say that the DMZ is basically not only a learning center, but a kind of a tool center to get you started in that D72, and get you kind of on the ground and running? Or
Absolutely.
What the DMZ is there for is to give people additional resources.
Okay.
To use the applications more efficiently.
And training materials. It's
Yes,
basically a portal for any first-time user of D72 to go and, as you said, get up and running far more quickly and employ our best practices even without directly contacting us. We have a lot of people who don't want to do the communication or don't want to put in webinar suggestions, things of that nature. At least you can start off there, and oftentimes that provides them and it kind of introduces them to us and our staff and allows them to kind of open forward and work more closely with us to get them working where they want to be.
Very cool.
We also I also want to say that oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. You totally ruined it for me, Michael.
My apologies.
That's all right. That's all right. No, I remember now. DMZ is basically the entire idea of it is that we need to provide a certain amount of support and a certain amount of information with such a powerful tool. That takes time and effort. And that time and effort is the DMZ. If you you want to jump into it and you want to just read the docs and figure it out for yourself, then you can do so without the DMZ, without the more advanced features of the DMZ and the support. And that's the difference. It's the difference in cost. It's, do you want the full shebang? Can we help you? Or are you going to do it yourself? Basically.
Right, and I think we've talked about this in many shows, but a lot of times, as a technician, we get paid to do jobs, and so in doing those jobs, sometimes you have to have the proper tool to do that job, and if you don't have the proper tool, you're going to spend a lot of time and effort. So, do I really want to take the time and effort to set it up on my own? Can I do that? Absolutely. Can I build a web page? Absolutely. Do I want to? No, I'd rather stick a fork in my eye. But I have certain strengths that I'm going to use in my business in order to make me money. And so, with that being said, I like tools like D72 because they're there. They make, like you said, productivity. They make me productive in what I do, which is fixing computers.
Well, the training stuff too will also help in some of the concepts that D72 can do. It's hard to convey in documents and manuals.
Yeah.
So
and
the time that it would take to read through all that, you can go through and watch a 2-hour video.
Well, it's true that there is admittedly a serious lack of actual textual documentation for D72, and that's why the the DMZ starter access with all of the introductory videos is open to everyone, and the downloads. the basic configuration, all that good stuff.
We've realized in the past that has been a limitation, and this
Yeah.
is our solution to it, and we think it's a very good one, and we want more people to take advantage of it, and that's one of the reasons why we've opened that up to everyone. And again, hopefully they'll realize the benefits to their business with that.
Absolutely. Anything to save time. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So when you can have all that, obviously it takes a lot of time and effort to put that information all in one place, and it's kind of like a repository for the tool, so that you can get all the information you need instead of, again, having to go all over the internet, having to go into forums, having to figure things out, having to contact you guys individually, and obviously you guys answering the same question 1,000 times. This is a way that anybody doesn't have to, for a lot of us that don't want to interact with people, and that's fine. You can go on there and check all that information out and go from there. So I think to me it's genius. I think you guys have done a great job in conveying that information and getting it out to people. So yeah, definitely people take advantage of it.
Thanks. That's also something too when we were talking about productivity. That's another great thing about D7.2 is if you have new people come on, we've actually had some comments and quotes about it where they've had new people come on, sit them down in front of D7.2, kind of go over it a little bit, and then they're up and running just if they'd been an experienced tech working in that shop for a couple months already. But then on top of that, you can use the DMZ to sit them down in front of the training videos while you're still getting work done and have them learn about the tool that you're getting them to use too. So
right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, a lot of the things that are in there is pulling everything all in one spot. So it's the tools that we're normally used to using as we're fixing computers, or we're doing virus removals and stuff like that. So it's nice to have that stuff, like I said, in one place, and that's really what makes it key.
And some of it's even better. My favorite thing to point out is the D7.2's internal event log viewer pops up in seconds, where the Windows one can take minutes to load. So
you got that right. Good point. So what do you guys want to go down? It's been a while since you've been on the show, Nick, and do you guys want to go down and talk about maybe some of the new features? I know you talked about some of the new features that are coming out, but even some of the things that maybe people are not aware of that's in the D7.2 tool.
Mostly defunct, wouldn't you say, Brantley?
I'd say that's our most major latest update was putting that out, which took malware scan and kind of took it to a whole new level to be able to search more of the file system, plus work a lot more with the files and things that you're finding out there. And I guess a short overview of what that does is, as Nick mentioned before, it kind of gives you all in one spot for where you would check on the hard drive and registry for malicious items to remove them out. Then you'll be able to whitelist ones that you know about. So when you open it up, ideally what you want to see is nothing comes back from the search results it shows you. Mm-hmm. So that means that you know everything is out there and you know that nothing new or bad is on there. If something does come up, you can use Defunct to research all about that file through VirusTotal and other tools and functions that he's added in there. And
we have VirusTotal coming through automatic. Like it will automatically pull the VirusTotal result and push it to the D7.2 interface.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So and it even works most of the time. There are some files that VirusTotal doesn't have the hash for, and then it has to upload, but it does so in the background, so it takes some time, so it doesn't refresh in the interface for a while.
Okay.
Sometimes, but yeah, there are so many like neat new features and like the little defunct window that gives you so much information on each file. I'm going to bring that actual window to all of D7.2's various tools, their kill 'em all and other things. Like kill 'em all, for example, such a simple part of D7.2 and a standalone program. And as a standalone program, it still is. But as the part of the D7.2 suite, it has new features now, new interface, and various things. And goodness gracious, I was going to talk about it. Now I can't remember a single thing I've done to it.
He's
That's
done
it.
a new interface for it and given you kind of a step-through walk, and kind of to explain to what Kill 'Em All is it
Oh yeah,
terminates all
yeah,
unneeded background processes.
yeah,
So
yeah. And now
web
I've got
apps,
the
system tray.
I've got I'll share with you a little share. I've got this is just my actual development environment, but basically I've got like an operating mode. You can do normal or step, which now steps through each process. You can do reports only, or you can actually terminate the processes. You can ignore your whitelists. We'll have special searches for suspicious files, processes skipped, and your whitelist matches. The thing that's not introduced yet that I'm working on is which is something that's already in defunct that Brantley didn't mention, is the MD5 hash matching. I have definitions from sanesecurity.com's Kai Steve, and he gives me these defs. He set me up with like a thing to automatically download them, and they perpetuate to crypto prevent for and it's not just your crypto stuff defs. It's like defs for everything. And that's the stuff that Crypto Prevent does that's not the software restriction policy related stuff. It does some active real-time blocking and things, and the version 8 will do even more with the folder monitoring. But we're using MD5 devs from Steve, and we're using those now with Defunk in the D72 release that's out right now. So any directory that you scan with Defunk, no matter what your search parameters are, I really should show you some of these too, but no matter what your search parameters are for whatever location you want to look at in Defunk, it will also scan every file that pops up against that MD5 list. If you're looking in the registry in Defunk and you click on run keys, so it shows you all of the run keys for all of the various users on the machine, and that includes the run once, and the
Right.
user, the local machine, all that good stuff. All of it's in one result window, and in that result window, every file that is referenced, every executable file that is referenced from that result, from a value data in that registry key, in that registry value, will be scanned automatically by Defunk and then referenced against that MD5 list. So you're going to get like a flag, and it'll say, bam, matched malware hash, or something like that.
Okay, hey, Nick, can you explain in layman's terms what an MD5 hash is for those people? And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't know exactly what that
MD5
means.
is actually not the best. SHA is the best. SHA 256, and there's a 512, but it's just a form of identifying a file. It's the most popular form of identifying a file, commonly used in your malware, anti-malware, and antivirus applications for the definition files. MD5 hashes are used in a lot of cases. The MD5 is it's sort of like the signature of the file. So basically, it's like a big string of text, and it's like a complicated password or something. It's just a big string of random looking text.
I would say the most layman's term would be it's a fingerprint for a file.
A fingerprint. Thank you, Brantley. Jesus, I was going all over the place. No, I was going to say it was the the text. But if you change one bit in the file, one tiny little bit, one character, even if you open the same file and like change nothing and resave it, that MD5 can change. So it is like a fingerprint to a file. It is one of those things that it's the reason why people say malware, antivirus definitions, for example, are ineffective versus the heuristics, because the definitions contain things like the MD5 hash, which just look for known files.
Right.
Heuristics look for crazy things. Now, in my apps, I have a heuristics, and I have now an MD5 hash. So that's like it's really not useless. It's awesome, actually. It's just
and listen,
it's
sure,
way
it's only
more accurate.
128-bit value, but you know,
Yeah.
and SHA could potentially improve upon those things. But the thing is that it uniquely identifies those things,
Well, we
even
get that,
in an
but
MD5
you
form.
that my software uses that definition set now. It makes it way more accurate,
Absolutely,
and you're
absolutely.
not going to miss things that the heuristics might miss or that the human might miss.
Right. Yeah. All right.
So,
Now would you say the oh shoot, now I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. The defunk, is that a replacement for now, because there was always the pre-malware scan and the malware scan. So can you kind of explain the differences, or
yeah,
is
I
one
would
replacing
love
the
to.
other?
I would love to, and
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the terminology for this stuff is going to be in the future because it's really bad right now. Before it was called malware scan, now it is called defunk.
Okay.
Pre-malware scan is still pre-malware scan. I guess you could call it pre-defunk if you wanted to now.
Okay.
Although defunk doesn't add things, it doesn't have all of the capabilities that malware scan had to add things to a pre-malware scan removal, to a blacklist. Pre-malware scan basically took a blacklist that you process and just deletes everything on that blacklist. So if you created a blacklist through malware scan or through defunk for a file system item or a registry item, you say add delete, there's delete, and then there's delete and add to blacklist. And if you delete and add to blacklist, it adds it to the blacklist, which is then removed by the pre-malware scan.
Okay. I gotcha.
Probably going to change some terminology there. A lot of terminology has changed, especially in like crypto prevent and other things. I finally started thinking about what real people call, and I started talking to other people about what people can refer to things as, and just sort of paying a little more attention to, like, even techs have their own language. So, like, and it's not tech language, it's like techs have their own, like, dialects. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I mean, like, we have our own language, but we also have dialects. And so even in tech products, I have issues with different dialects. And like something I call something, you know, someone else will call something different. So even Brantley and I, or Michael and I, we've all worked at the same place before, we sometimes call the same things different things.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make a, you know, like a concerted effort to make these things a little more clear. So I don't exactly know what pre-malware scan is going to be called in the future,
Gotcha.
but it is the item that processes the blacklists that you created with malware scan and with defunk.
You know, it's funny because I've been using D72 for a long time, and you just explained it to me in a way that I absolutely understand exactly what you're talking
Awesome.
about. So that it makes perfect sense. And I think just those little things like that, sometimes people are like, I'm not sure if I need to use this, or is it double redundancy, or is it something that I can kind of bypass. So
I don't know if I'm going to continue to call defunk and defunk, but it's probably going, the pre-part is probably going to be something like process defunk blacklists.
Okay.
And that will make a little more sense to people. You think?
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome.
To throw it out there too, kind of more of what defunk and malware scan was originally entitled for, and this was back when Nick and I were both working side by side in the tech shop, is at the time basically there was only AdAware and Spybot to search for things. And
That's old
we
school,
really couldn't find a whole bunch of things to like, it would miss a bunch of things. So basically what we did was we would end up going through the file system and registry and looking for strange things that looked out of place and then removing them manually. So really with defunk, that gives you all the locations you would want to look for those type of items. And if you actually just use that, you can clean up an entire system without running a malware scan or virus scan.
Oh, yeah.
It does take a little bit longer if you don't do those, because you have to know what's showing up in there and what is good versus what's bad so you can remove it.
Well, then that depends on the infection. If you have a simple infection, you can go in with defunk and remove it in 3 seconds and be done.
Where a virus scan would scan the entire system and take forever. So it's definitely a all-in-one tool you can use to clean out an entire system by hand and know everything is good, or you can use it in conjunction with your automated stuff so that anything that any of those definition lists from virus scan, malware scans, any of those things can get removed automatically, and then you can go through and make sure everything else is clear, or see if you find something that's a 0-day that nobody has definitions for yet.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
I want to throw something in crazy here. Proctor, did you know about defunk?
Yeah, I've been using defunk ever since it came out.
Oh, okay.
But I just
that's
wanna
why
bring
you're
up-
my D72 guy. I just wanted to ask a guy in the field. Proctor's only been in with us for a couple of weeks, and we haven't had the opportunity to do a lot of D72 collaboration yet, but he uses it on a daily basis as a tech for his company, and he apparently uses it very well.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing any type of tech work without D7 too. It's totally revolutionized my business. It saves me time, allows my technicians to work on more systems at one time. It's easier to train systems. You can take a very green tech and have them perform like a seasoned tech really quickly. It's very easy for them to learn the software, which I've just done, yeah.
And I wanted to mention just one thing that is oftentimes overlooked. People still sometimes consider D72 to just be a collection of ways to chain a whole bunch of third-party tools together and run them. It's so much more than that. If you know, the defunk is just even a small piece of it, but there is so much functionality integral to D72 that even without third-party tools, it would be an extremely valuable tool. So I just wanted to put that out there for the people that still look at it as just a way of chaining tools together, which it's so much more than that now.
Well, and I will tell you from my standpoint too, I rarely use any third-party tools inside there anymore.
Perfect example.
For any of my removals or repairs and stuff like that. It is pretty much, a lot of the stuff is so much more manually easier to do with D72 that a lot of times that's what I end up doing. So I was one of the technicians years ago that used to run 12 to 16 hours worth of scans on my machines. I no longer do that. So.
That's excellent to hear. That's what we really want to go for too. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, I like to point out too, since I still have a copy where I don't think Nick even has a copy. I found a copy of D7 Original version 1 Alpha, and when you look at the interface, it's basically just malware scan. That's what the whole concept originated on, and Nick has just been slowly building on top of it to the fully customized point that you're at with D72, where you have so many options, tools, everything all included in there. But the original one was basically defunct malware scan, and that's where it's grown from. So
excellent. Well, I'll tell you what, have we covered everything inside D72 that we kind of want to talk about today? Because if we have, I kind of want to move on to and talk about what you're doing with Crypto Prevent, Nick, and what things are going on there.
Absolutely.
Have we covered everything? I just had to go take care of something. What have we covered everything? I know.
I believe so.
I left and Michael was talking, so I have no idea what was said.
Yeah, I know. He does love to hear me talk, but
I think the thing you might have missed that was key point there was that Jeff said he rarely uses third-party tools. He actually uses mostly D72's internal functions to clean and clear all his systems now. So
right on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. A good
and I
thing.
wanted, that's the point I was making. So that's beautiful. Thank you. But yeah, we can move on. I think to crypto. We spent enough on D72.
So obviously, Nick, you created a tool called Crypto Prevent, and it was for all these crypto wall, cryptocurrency, or all these just different viruses that basically would encrypt your software and ask you for money to unlock your software or your files. Word documents, pictures, whatever you use on a regular daily basis. And without that, there was really no way to crack this encryption, because let's be honest, good encryption works whether you want it to or not.
True.
And there's not really a whole lot you can do with that, even if you have supercomputers that are running 1 billion miles an hour.
You see the latest crypto thread out there. The guy released an apology and decrypted everyone's stuff yesterday.
Really? No, I didn't hear about that. Wow.
Yeah, apparently the bad guy in this, he released a public apology and decrypted everyone's stuff. He had he set a date to do it on the 2nd, and he fulfilled it.
Wow.
Yep.
So guy must have had second thoughts.
Well,
But
he probably, but see, in reality,
part of a settlement.
He probably made his money already off everyone who bought the malware
Yeah.
from him to then
He's trying to get out
redistribute
while he
their
still
own
has
bank
it.
account on it.
Mhm.
He's the developer that did this now. Remember, not the guy distributing the malware.
Huh.
So,
That's amazing. Okay.
But yeah, no, Crypto Prevent was originally created for Crypto Locker, the original Crypto Locker, and nothing else. It originally had, I think, 6 rules in it. Basically, what it does is it creates software restriction policy rules, part of group policy on Windows. But it does so on versions of Windows that you cannot use the group policy editor on, which are not professional versions. It does so on the home versions. So that's all it was for, was to translate these original 6 rules basically to Windows Home, XP Home, Vista Home, Home Basic, Home Business, whatever they are, Home whatevers, Home Premiums, and get those rules on there. Now, what it's grown into is like 250 some, and then now down to 180 some because of some more logic rules and software restriction policies. There is a real-time executable filter, and the MD5 thing that I get from Sane Security. There's going to be a folder watch in version 8, which is coming up. The folder watch, basically there's a beta protection in the existing version. The beta it's an executable filter for all executables, not just weird executables like SER, CPL, PIF, those things. This actually does .exe and .com, and because it does that, there are some issues. There are some issues that it has with a lot of things, and I'm looking to alleviate that. What I've decided to do is take the same detection technology, and instead of applying that to the execution of all executables, for example, like with this beta protection, it will apply to certain folders only. Any executable in a certain folder, any download, any zip file, anything in a certain folder matches our def, it will get hammered, blocked, whatever.
I wouldn't say it has issues so much as more as it kind of works too well.
Well, there are problems with no, there are actual issues. I will say Brantley wants to be like the company man, I think, but no, it's it does work too well in a lot of situations. That is the truth. There is one particular actual issue that it has. It's with Office hosted versions of Office, like the 365 and all that.
Okay.
For some reason, they don't launch right with that enabled, and I have never figured it out. It doesn't make any sense to me.
What?
I'm a developer.
There is a workaround though to right-click and run as
Yeah.
administrator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the workaround. You can right-click and run as administrator, but I mean, who wants to do that?
But I think the issue is more that Microsoft programs and launches things differently to protect their stuff. So.
Yes, and they're doing that basically their programs are launching differently, and it's probably a security feature that it's something that they don't allow exposure to other things. You know, like, oh, me, for example. They don't let me know the API to duplicate that, much less to interact with that. You know, so I mean, it's something that really it only occurs with that Microsoft product. It actually is. There's nothing else that does it.
Well,
So
they've always done weird things, like if you right-click on an
yeah,
Office icon, you get nothing like what you would with a shortcut icon that you would normally have there. So
yeah, they always have different. They have their own thing.
So now, and just to go back a little bit, so the crypto prevent, basically, if you were in a domain environment, you were in an office that had, let's say, a server and workstations, you basically could implement the group policies in the original, like you had in the original crypto prevent.
Yeah.
But on home systems, you couldn't do that, even though the availability was there, but not to where a person could get to it. So your product was actually able to make the same group policy settings in
Right.
the home systems. So now,
Exactly.
you're working on this new one, and yeah, I can kind of see some of the issues where some of this cloud-based stuff, because they're getting beat up so bad about keeping this stuff secure, everybody's afraid of the cloud, you know, and so I can see why they're doing certain things. So, so what else? I mean, is crypto prevent changing a lot compared to where it first started out as, or?
Oh, it's huge. It's way different. I mean, it's everything that it used to be, and it still protects against everything that it used to do, which a lot of people don't even think about. The original crypto locker is still out there.
Right. Oh yeah.
It's the older variants. They're still out there. They're still floating around. They don't just deactivate with a switch. They're still there, and they're going to be there for a long time.
Right.
So it's still protecting against those, but it's had to evolve a lot for a lot of new stuff. And we actually discovered that it protected against a wide range of malware, not just the crypto stuff, because of the way the software restriction pool policies that I added worked. The MD5 detection that we have from Sane Security now, which will be part of the folder watch, is currently the executable stuff. That's awesome. That works for everything. Those are MD5 defs we get for all types of malware, not just crypto stuff.
Now, I was going to say, inside of crypto prevent, you can create a whitelist for certain things, correct?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, currently the whitelist is only for software restriction policies. Okay. I don't have whitelisting capabilities for the real-time filters of crypto prevent.
Okay, I got you.
But that's coming. That's coming. It's all in the works. We're just trying to actually unify the two of those as we create the whitelisting for the other stuff. We're trying to incorporate it into the other thing, but because of the different formatting possible, we have to work with it a little bit. We're also working with the transition with getting Brantley and Michael taking over crypto prevent. So
development.
Okay.
The other thing you can do with the premium version, where essentially all the protections and whitelisting that we've gone over here are available in the free version that anyone can download and run for free. The premium version adds things like email alerts and also the ability to add your own blacklist. So you can actually use it for stopping other programs from being run and installed on your computers.
Let's talk about some more new stuff. Okay, let me just throw some stuff out there. I'm just going to throw some stuff out there. 8 right now. We're working on the folder watch stuff, and I really wanted to get that out before version 8 because that would make it version 8. But we have some other cool new things that are already implemented and working well, and that's the System Tray app, and that is the coolest thing. Brantley did that, and it basically just allows you quick access to the settings and lets you disable them or change the level. So you can change the protection level or disable all protections on the fly. Most of the time, a reboot is still necessary if it involves software restriction policies, but it's not always necessary. It's just, and one of the things we tell people it's necessary in the prompt, in the OK prompt or
Right.
whatever. We say, yeah, you need to do this for this to work. But it's not always the case. It's sometimes. It says yes, no. It sometimes it works fine. Sometimes it works after a minute or two, but it always works right after a reboot. So that's why we say that. But the system tray will give you quick access to enable and disable these settings, change the protection levels on the fly. The new version, actually, let me show you this. Let me just show you this bit about the new version.
The system tray too, while he's getting that pulled up, is going to be the only constantly running portion. Crypto Prevent, once you apply the settings, it's not running in the background. It's not taking up any resources.
Right.
So
well,
that's something
the
else
folder monitor will take a little. It'll run in the background, but and the email alert function has always run in the background. That is a tiny little 1 meg thing.
Very low system resources, if any, though. But the system tray access will give you kind of quick ability to change those settings, and also will include a slimmed down version of Kill 'em All to help with people that run into browser pages that won't let you close out or do anything. If you can't get out of that program or anything, you can use the system tray to terminate non-essential processes and close out basically everything that doesn't need to be running. So maybe you can start working on the system again or get back to what you're doing.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
So I have a pickup right now. This is like my little development environment, and this is Crypto Prevent version 8. I have simplified everything where I still have the protection levels. I call them protection plans now. And I have a new level for custom settings, which I never had before. So when you actually apply custom settings, it has its own level. This is for also the system tray app, so you can choose all of these protection plans or your custom settings, or disable everything. I also have the active protection. This is the non-system restore policy. I'm sorry, system software restriction policy. This is the non-software restriction policy stuff that Crypto Prevent does. There is the prevent file types, which is the folder watch. Or I'm sorry, there's the folder watch, which is the folder watch. There's the prevent file types, an on-demand thing, which is in the current version of Crypto Prevent. It's the same thing as the executable beta protection, but it doesn't apply to actual EXEs and comms, just all oddly named executable.
CPLs, SCRs,
Yes.
all those things, yes.
So basically, we have our custom settings now in the new guy, and you see a minimum plan, a default plan, and a maximum plan, and these basically outline the settings that are enabled with that plan.
I gotcha.
So you get to choose what settings with the plan are configured. You also have the prevent file types and the folder watch configuration, where you can add your own folders and everything else. And then, of course, we've got the classic stuff, the updates, manual, automated, email stuffs, history. The history is kind of neat. We've done some different stuff with the history where it was like the event log or whatever. Now it's just a history, and it tells you, of course, only the Crypto Prevent related events from the Windows event logs, but it tells you previous startup or from the beginning, and it basically takes things and it strips out a lot of the extra crap information that you don't need from the event log, and just tells you, was a program blocked? Yes.
Gotcha.
What is
Okay.
and it'll throw it in red. That was a program blocked or whatever. If it's that was a test, me doing a test, but if it was an actual test by the program, which you can let's do a test there. Actually, I don't think that'll work in my development environment. But an actual test by the program, no, it won't. It doesn't work in my development. But an actual test by the program will actually say this was a test by the program, not this is something.exe running, and then the person's left to decipher, oh, that looks like something that might be part of crypto prevent, or it could be bad. So we just like a lot of clarification is going on
Right.
here. There's just a lot of clarification with this stuff. Say what, Brantley?
We've added a lot more simplification and clarifying. So.
Yeah. Nice.
But that's
nice
not to say
description.
we're not bringing new features. Again, the folder watch is a huge component, a huge benefit for it, and I think particularly to the rebranding as being a protecting against more than just ransomware is another factor with all that. And now the product is capable of doing that and a lot more.
Agreed.
Very cool.
Awesome.
No, it sounds. I mean, it sounds like again, Nick. One of your claims to fame, I guess, is that you're always moving forward in whatever you're doing. So you're always, implementing new things, getting feedback from the community, and making things better, watching out for what's coming down the pike and what's going to affect people, and trying to prevent a lot of that stuff from happening. So my hat is off to you, and your team for doing all these things and bringing them. The programs keep getting easier and more understandable, and I think they work great for the things that they were designed to do. So good job on that.
Awesome, thank you.
Is there anything else that we needed to cover on Crypto Prevent at this point, or we kind of hit everything that we needed to?
Oh, no, we haven't covered everything. We haven't covered what we need to cover for the tax.
Oh yeah, there's a whole new side.
It's been applying just to the end users. We haven't talked about the tech stuff.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's talk about the tech stuff. Okay, Crypto Prevent. I have this other product called D-Support Suite, right? It's like 5 other products that I came out with just for various reasons, combined into one, and then evolved into something new. It originally started as a digital business card with a purpose, meaning that it was a way to leave your contact information, your branding, your logo on your customer's computer via some software. The purpose part is that gave them some functionality. It gave them the ability to contact you, gave them the ability to submit diagnostic reports to you, and it gives them the ability, finally, to attempt to just fix some internet problems. It'll rebuild the WinSock and do some miscellaneous things automatically if they click that button. So that was D-Support. Then came D-Support Suite with automated maintenance and event log monitoring and all this other stuff, and shutdown conditions and scheduling and just crazy things and rules and stuff. And then we have Crypto Prevent integration now. And while it's not out, we're still working on it. We wanted to get Crypto Prevent to the D-Support Suite people, those who are buying into using this. Basically, the D-Support Suite platform is designed for a tech shop. Excuse me. It's designed for a tech shop to resell to their customers as a maintenance app, as an automated maintenance app. And, of course, the original purpose of a digital business card.
Sure.
Now we're adding the Crypto Prevent thing. That will, of course, give them the ability to resell with the power of Crypto Prevent. Crypto Prevent currently has a bulk resale edition that will be integrated into the D-Support Suite, so that bulk resale edition will have essentially the same deployment capabilities as D-Support Suite owners. They will be able to deploy updated configurations for Crypto Prevent should they decide something needs to be different to all their
Okay.
customers. They will be able to cut their customers off from that functionality as well if they quit paying a subscription fee, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and what's even better about it is they will be able to undercut us in price even when we're on sale because they're going to get it way cheaper and be able to resell it way cheaper.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I've told people there's an announcement on my Crypto Prevent page, actually, in the middle of the page, and something in the middle of the page, there's like a button, and in the button it says an important announcement, and in that announcement it does say some junk like Crypto Prevent is still going to be available to people through resellers. You know, we're moving as we're moving up. We're moving, of course, to a subscription model with everything else for the end user, and basically it still states that you'll still be able to get the Crypto Prevent through tech shops.
Okay.
People who buy through us and then resell can still do whatever they want. If they want to do a subscription, they can do it. If they want to do a one-off sale, they can do it. And they'll be able to undercut us at every corner. So that's what we can give to our tech shops.
Yep.
Nice.
And a little bit more clarity between those two. The bulk resale edition is more if you just want to push the Crypto Prevent product itself, where D-Support Suite is more if you want to be able to white label it and have it branded under your own information and protection.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the integration of those two products is probably the only other thing I can think of Crypto Prevent related. So you did say to bring that up. So.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I'm looking at the page right now. Yeah, I mean, very cool. No, you guys, I mean, again, you guys are just, keep moving forward and keeping those things out there and making it great for technician shops to be able to, use these tools and do what they need to do, to protect their customers, because that's what we do out here. We are in the business of protecting our customers from getting these nasty, crypto viruses and other things that they might get. So definitely appreciate that. I'll tell you what, did you guys want to cover any? I think we really talked about a lot of things. We talked about D7.2. We talked about DMZ. Did we cover everything in the DMZ that you guys wanted to cover in today's show?
I believe so.
Okay. And then we've talked about Crypto Prevent. And is there any other things that you may or may not have coming down the pike that you want to talk about, Nick?
I'll throw this out there. It's been mentioned and whatnot, but it's not been clear. Michael and Brantley on the end there, they are new programmers to Halash IT in addition to customer support. They are going to take over the Crypto Prevent and the D-Support Suite projects, and they're going to push them into a totally new realm of just like people actually working and supporting and actively producing these products. Whereas I've been preoccupied with D7.2 and everything else, so we're splitting. I'm keeping D7.2, and they're taking the Crypto Prevent and the D-Support Suite. Now the thing about that is I still get to tell them what I want to do. No, I still get to tell them. I still get to come up with new things. Like I still get to, and the reason why D-Support Suite has a D in front of it is only because D7 did, and it's only because I initially used the maintenance code in D7 to create D-Support Suite.
Right. Okay.
Originally, the maintenance code was pulled right from D7, and this is the maintenance code that we run to tune up people's computers. This is the maintenance code that people can use to tune up their computers. And so we put that into D-Support Suite. The thing about that is there's a lot more than just the maintenance code now, and there's a lot more that's going to be added that I get to do first. I get to do Kill 'Em All, our Kill 'Em All product that's free and that's improved in D7.2 has recently been integrated into Crypto Prevent. So in the Tray app, you get to run Kill 'Em All. Now it's called Terminate Non-Essential Processes or something like that. And it runs silently. It doesn't give you an interface, but it gives you a message when it's done and a message before it starts. And the entire point of it is for the customer is that they can run this app. If they get a strange pop-up or something suspicious when they're browsing the web or doing something, they can run this app from this right from the system tray, and with a click, terminate everything that might potentially be malicious because they don't know,
Right.
because they don't know what they're doing.
I get a lot of support calls where people will call me and they say, "Hey, this weird thing popped up on my computer. What do I do about it?" With this app, you can just click on the toolbar, taskbar, and end all the processes.
Everything but
and alleviate the problem for the customer.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it will tell them, you need to save your work if you're doing a Word document or whatever. It'll tell you need to save your work, but then when you click yes, it's going to kill everything, and that's Kill 'Em All, and that's the technology that I get to work on with D7. But I get then to give this code to those guys and say make it user friendly.
Right. No, that's great.
And then that way,
so they'll do that.
It kind of basically the idea we're going for is Nick will be able to focus on coming up with his new great ideas and everything, and then we'll be able to take the heavy lifting part off of his shoulders for the crypto prevent and support suite, and just integrate those features in as it comes by. So we're kind of delegating tasks and making it easier for Nick to do the great things that he comes up with and does.
The great things.
Well, we want to put everybody in their best place and to work on what they're most effective at, and to make us to allow us, frankly, to serve a larger customer base. And we're growing and expanding to do that and taking on different roles to accomplish that. But I think all of our users will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. No, I think we've covered a ton of new things that you guys are up to and doing in, foolishit.com today. So it's been a great show. Nick, I'll tell you what's the best way that you want people to contact you if they want information about what you're selling and what you're providing for the community out there?
FoolishTech@foolishit.com. Support@foolishit.com. DMZ at foolishit.com. We're info@foolishit.com. We've got some addresses. Just guess one. And start with Foolish Tech if you can remember it, but just guess one because I've added a lot of aliases.
Support and help, all those things should work. Though,
we just switched to a new ticket system, and when I first hired the guys, we were doing. I was my email, and then we started doing ConnectWise. I'll say, and now we just switched to Zoho. But the way we're set up now is that we're all getting everything, so it's not going to get ignored. Someone's going to get to it.
Yeah,
please
anytime.
Just let us know. FoolishTech@foolishit.com or any of those support. DMZ.
Yeah. Anytime I've ever sent an email, you guys, somebody has always answered it in a short amount of time. So I do appreciate that. Yeah, definitely go to foolishit.com and check those products out. It will definitely help you in your business. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today and sharing on the show about what it is you guys are doing. I think it's been awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, and let's see. You guys can find me on the Google Plus at Jeffery Halash or Twitter at TechNutPC. And if you'd like to feature your product or service on this show, please email me at podnutz@podnutz.com. And I want to thank everyone for listening and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time on Podnutz, the Computer Repair Podcast.